Teammates. We are back once again. If this is your first time listening to the Move Swiftly podcast, welcome to the show. To my regular listeners, you already know how I get down. I get right to the point. And it just so happened that a week ago, I was planning my summer. I was looking for companies that I can sponsor or be a vendor or just be a part of what they're doing. And I ran into something called like a children's business fair, something where the kids were going to be actually having their businesses together. And I was like, yo, I'm all in this. I gotta find something. I gotta call somebody. I was like, yo, how do I get involved in this thing? And it was a children's business fair. And then there was a company named We Are Hype. So I didn't know who I was calling. I was cold calling. I just dialed the number. And luckily my guide coach, Drew, picked up the phone, the founder of We Are Hype. And it was a great conversation. I was like, look, we got to get you on the show. There's so many great things that we could be doing together. So here he is, everyone, with the Coach Drew. He likes to be called Coach Drew. Coach Drew, founder of We Are Hype. Welcome to the Move Swiftly podcast. How are you?
Yes, sir, man. I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. And definitely a pleasure speaking with you, man. I love meeting individuals that are like-minded and have a passion for helping the youth and have a passion for sports and our communities. You know, it's kind of crazy how God works, and he brings people like us together to continue our missions in life. And I'm just happy to be here.
Yes, sir. And I was just telling you before we started recording this, I've listened to you quite a bit over the past couple of days as really kind of getting prepared for this. And on this show, there's an episode titled "The Power of Acronyms," and I think the best place to start off is the acronym that you actually have when it comes to We Are Hype, because I was actually blown away. I did not know that HYPE is actually an acronym. So I think the best place to start is to just talk a little bit about your organization and how you came up with the acronym in this. We'll go from there.
For sure. I'll start with a little background information about myself and the reason why I even started, We Are Hype. As a child, I was an athlete, from a very young age. I played football, baseball, basketball. But then at a certain point in my life, I was subjected to a lot of peer pressure, a lot of some poverty, some trials and tribulations in life. And I was a misguided child. I was an angry child because I didn't have my father. Well, he was there, but he wasn't emotionally supportive, spiritually supportive, mentally supportive. He was just physically there. And I didn't have the guidance that I really needed at a young age, a very vulnerable age, 14, 15, 16 is when my life kind of took a turn. Not only was I was a good athlete, I was a decent student. I basically just did the bare minimum so I can continue playing sports and continue going to school. But then I also had another life. I was trying to be a gangster and live in the streets and get money my own ways, and ways that were not productive, and doing things I shouldn't have been doing. So as I got older, and I realized that the decisions I was making and the lifestyle I was leading was not the best way to live my life, and was causing me more trouble than it was me having fun, or whatever it may be that I was trying to, whatever void I was trying to fill during that time of my life. It just wasn't happening. So after that happened, God put it in my heart, when the bulb went off in my head that I had to live better, that I wanted to be a positive influence on others, use my talents and my abilities, my God-given abilities to help others that were in similar situations to my own. He put the idea in my head for We Are Hype. HYPE stands for helping young people everywhere. I don't know where the acronym came from. I don't know where the idea of the logo came from. It just popped in my head one day. And then in March of 2017, I was actually at a park where I saw some kids who were, unsupervised. There was no parental supervision. It was late in the evening, 6 or 7 o'clock. Some of the kids, they were in tank tops and beat up shoes and things like that. And they were playing tackle football, no equipment. Like I said, no coaches, no parental supervision or anything like that. And then I something was laid on my heart and said, I want to help kids like this. I want to help kids in my community to have a positive outlet, to have access to to football, to basketball, to sports, to STEM programs, to mental health,
Mhm.
whatever that kid needs to find out who they want to become, so that's where We Are Hype pretty much came from, and where the idea came from. And 6 years later, we're actually just starting to, the wheels are starting to turn now, and we're actually getting some traction in the community, and our website is finally getting done,
Yeah.
to my liking. And I'm now an athletic director at a local school here in Jacksonville, Florida. So we're going to be able to
Oh, there
partner.
you go.
Yep, we're going to be able to partner with the school and the church to be
Mhm.
able to use the facilities and have a place for our kids to come. I've partnered with a local mental health group here in Jacksonville called It's Holistic Therapy, who's going to be able to help provide some strength and conditioning along with mental health awareness as well for our children. And then, like you said, the Children's Business Fair, man, that's something new that we're starting this year. To be our first one. But
Mhm.
just since you and I have spoken, when we spoke, I only had 4 children registered. Tell me why I have 12 kids registered now, man.
Because God's touching you, man.
I'm
There's
telling you,
something, there's a
it's
piece of
crazy.
God, there's a piece of God really touching your heart. And when you put things out there, and I mean, I could resonate so much with what you're saying, but when you envision it, when you, like you said, when you see those kids with nothing, and then you start to trigger and you see yourself in them, and you say, man, there's something happening. There's like a piece, and there's something more when you realize it's not just you. And I've been on record talking about how I want to help kids for years. And I've always told people, look, I know it's not just me. There's the community we're partnering with. There's the families. I had a great mentor who told me one time, look, a high school football team does not belong to the coach. It belongs to the community. It belongs to the
Yes.
community. It belongs to the community. Did I say that enough, listeners? It belongs to the community. Man, that's an amazing story, Coach Drew. And I don't want to brush off what you said, though. I really don't want to brush it, because you shared a lot in that piece. And I want to kind of go back to the way you grew up, and the tough things you were dealing with, especially when it comes to your father. And you said that there was a light bulb moment. There was a light bulb moment where you decided, hey, I'm gonna change the way I'm living. I'm gonna change the trying to be a gangster. I'm gonna change going out drinking, partying, just doing the bad
Yeah.
things. There's so many great things out there for us. When was that light bulb moment for you? Like, can you describe kind of where you were with the best of your ability?
Yeah, for sure. Man, so I'll just cut right, like you said,
Yeah,
we
oh
like
yeah.
to
By the
cut
way,
right to the
so
point.
the
So
Move Swiftly podcast, it's unlimited time, and there's nothing off limits. So I forgot to tell you that.
yeah, so like I've never really talked about this in the open, so this is kind of a vulnerable time for me too. But that's how we got to be. We got to step out of that
We're
box. Man.
exclusive. We're exclusive. I told
Yeah,
you, we're exclusive. You're not the first to break an exclusive on the show, so you're all good. You got good company.
yeah. So I battled drinking for a very long time. My father was a alcoholic, and he abused alcohol and pain pills. So I started stealing his alcohol and pain pills and things like that when I was younger. I started smoking weed when I was 14, but it got to the point where I was about I think I was 23 or 24.
Mm-hmm.
And I was drinking and driving at like 5 o'clock in the morning
Mm-hmm.
from partying all night, man. And there was
Mm-hmm.
this lady, I barely saw her. She was walking her dog, and they weren't on the sidewalk, they were in the grass, but I ran up on the sidewalk, and I was very close to hitting her while she walked her dog. So
Mm-hmm.
that kind of just jarred me to the point of
Yeah.
my life would have been done. I would have been done if that would have happened. If I would have
Yes.
if I would have struck that lady and her dog, I wouldn't be married right now. I wouldn't
Yeah.
have the opportunity to be a father or an athletic director or a coach. I wouldn't be running We Are Hype. I wouldn't have the opportunity to
Yeah.
coach my boys that I've been coaching this season.
Yeah.
And my life sort of flashed before my eyes. And I'm not gonna lie, that wasn't the last time I drank or anything, because
Mm-hmm.
alcoholism and being addicted to things like that, it just doesn't go away. That's something that we
Yes.
battle our entire lives. So I thank God that I've gotten to the point where I can go have a drink with my wife, and that, at dinner or something, and that will be it. I don't
Yeah.
have the urge to go, even after a stressful, hard week where I've had the worst time, the devil
Yeah.
been getting at me all week long. I still don't have the urge to go drink a bottle of Captain Morgan like I used to,
Yeah.
and I just thank God for that 100%. So I guess it was around, I think, like I said, I think I was 23, 24. I'm 35 now.
Yeah.
So it was been a few years ago, but that wasn't the only instance. I've had other times. I've had guns held to my head because I was there was a time in my life where I sold drugs too to make money and to pay the rent and to pay the bills and things like that because I wasn't living how God wanted me to or how I was supposed to. So I'll say one other thing,
Yeah. Take your time. Take your time.
where the light bulb went off along with the night that I was drinking and driving. But it was the people that God kept putting in my life, now. So I go to church at the district church here in Jacksonville.
Yes.
And we're a growing church. We've been around for 10 years, but I just started going there a couple of years ago. Every job that I've had, even the one that I'm in now, came, not just jobs, but the opportunity to go to Trinity Baptist College and play basketball at the age of 29. It came from a person that goes to church with me now.
Wow.
So Shank is an athletic director at Eagles View Academy here in Jacksonville. He's the reason why I went to Trinity Baptist College and was able to play basketball at the age of 29. Philip Hobbs, he got me into a job selling roofs 4 years ago. So I'd been selling roofs for the last 4 years until I found something that I could do and support my family and that I love to do, which is what I'm doing now. But for the last 4 years, I've been selling roofs. I'm very unhappy, but I made a lot of money. It helped me get out of debt. It helped me get a quality vehicle. It helped me put my family in a decent home. It helped me do a lot of things. But Philip Hobbs, another member of my church, is the reason why I got into roofing. I got that job. Now Stuart Jones, he's I don't know if I should be name dropping him like this, but they don't care.
Right.
I want the world to know how good these men have been to me, and
Absolutely.
I want my boys and my young women and young men to know that we need help. All right,
Yes.
It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to receive help, and it's okay to allow others to come in your life and help you make it better. It's okay to do that. So Stuart, he's a teacher here. He's the reason why I'm here. He told the new head of school about me. The head of school asked him, do you know any potential athletic directors, coaches that we could use at this school? And Stuart, I was the first name. And then within 5 days, I have a job here, so
wow.
Nothing but God. It's nothing but good people. But just seeing these things happen, seeing how God is putting all these people in my life to get me to this position is a light bulb moment. You have to listen and you have to pay attention to things like that. But living the lifestyle that I was living, doing the things that I was doing, hanging out with the people that I was hanging out with, being in the environments that I was in, was blocking all of those blessings. It was blocking my vision to see what I was supposed to be doing. It was blocking the opportunities, the doors being opened. Once I got control of that, once I made a concerted effort to put all that behind me and to start opening my eyes and paying attention to the blessings and the opportunities that I had right in front of me, is when the light bulb started. The light bulb started clicking. Now I have ideas in my head for days. I have so many things that I want to do. Now all I got to do is just dial in my focus and take it day by day, step by step, keep the faith, keep praying, keep asking for help. When I don't know something, find somebody who knows it, find somebody who knows it and go learn it. But yeah, man, that's kind of where I am right now.
Yes. I mean, there's so much I want to unpack with a lot of what you said. I mean, first of all, I have to commend you, Andrew, on your courage to share. I know that was not an easy thing to share. I know it's a very challenging thing to put yourself back in that place and to just imagine. I mean, I myself actually had a similar situation. I, like you, had a drinking problem in college, and there was actually a time I was driving my dad's car, and he had a Mercedes, and I pressed on the gas. I wasn't drunk this time, but I pressed on the gas pedal, and I almost hit a son with the mother. I mean, if she didn't pull his arm out right away, I mean, the boy would have been gone. And I look back at my rear view, and she's screaming, crying, and I mean, to this day, I have flashbacks of that, you know. So and it's like you, first time I'm actually saying that on camera. So, you know, I commend you, and it helps me really share as well. And I also actually remember a time too where Coach Malloy, you know, I played football, I played high school football and stuff like that. And I remember Coach Malloy was telling us on a Halloween, look, I know people who've actually hit that lady in a drunk night. I know people who've actually done it. Old men, like 80-year-old men, who can't live with themselves. They can't live with themselves. Right. So he was warning us, look, be fucking careful with what you're doing tonight. Life is not a joke. I get underage drinking happens. I get you guys are young, gonna do it shouldn't happen. I'm not telling you to do it, but understand the things you do tonight. And this is now it's going to you high school kids, you young kids that are on the wrong path. The things you do tonight, as you're hearing my voice, they're going to have lifelong effects. It's going to be a lifelong effect on how you conduct yourself right now. So it's do not make the mistake. Do not make the mistake. This comes from do not make the mistake of you living kind of this casual life and thinking that, you know, if something happens, you'll be all right. Don't do it. The things will stick with you for the rest of your life. All right. So that's the one thing I just had to get off my chest. And now when it comes to, you know, the relationships you built and the way you were able to get into the position that you are now, can you just kind of speak a little bit about what did these people see in you? Because like you said, you were a roofer because someone saw your grind, or when you were 29 playing in college. You know, that's really, really late. I guess we could just start there. You know, how did you even think of a 29-year-old man going and playing basketball? What was that process like? And then going from there?
Man, so I'd
and what coach would actually take you, you know, at 29? Shout out to the coach.
So it's a little different at the NCCAA level. You know, as long as you have eligibility, it doesn't matter how old you are. So I was in the process of I had just graduated with my associate's degree from Florida State College here in Jacksonville, and I've always been an athlete. I've always played football and basketball. I stopped playing baseball when I was young, so I've always played football and basketball since middle school. I've always had a passion about sports, and I've always had a passion about business. I've always been good at sales. So getting into sports management and what I want to do now is kind of always been inside of me. I just didn't know exactly what it looks like. I started going to school for sport medicine. You know, I wanted to be an athletic trainer on the field, helping guys when they get injured and things like that. I still have a passion for that.
Right.
But I gravitated more towards the business side of things. And then I've had some success in those areas. So I did my internship when I was going to UNF with the Jacksonville Giants, which is our ABA professional basketball team here. And I was the director of game day operations there. And then
this was during school?
This was during my stint at University of North Florida, is when I was getting my bachelor's degree.
Okay. So you weren't even playing basketball yet.
This was after I played at Trinity. I'm bouncing around a little bit, man. I have ADHD, so feel bad. I'm all over the place. You know, my mind is
it's
crazy.
All good, yeah. Because that's what I want
to get to my answer.
That you know, it doesn't happen overnight. Success is zigzag. Right. Like, it doesn't happen in a straight line. You know, you got to bounce around. I think one of my favorite authors, Malcolm Gladwell, said everyone has to be an anthropologist. We're all anthropologists. So this thing that college throws at you, where you got to pick one area of study, that's complete nonsense. You got to be an anthropologist. You got to make sure you're in certain things. Or even Robert Kiyosaki, the key to life is knowing a little bit about a lot, because there's a lot of different things that these companies need, especially when they're talking about getting hired and, you know, making an impression on people. So go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. But I've always had something inside of me has always gravitated towards sports business. God has always put me in positions to be a part of sports business management, things of that nature. But after I graduated from Florida State College with my associate's degree, I was actually going places to try and get We Are Hype up and running. So I was going everywhere, asking people, how can I volunteer? How can I get involved with sports and doing things? So I went to my friend Zach Shank. He was an athletic director for another school at that time. And I just went and I was just meeting with him one day at school, and I was just asking him, what can I do to get involved? And then he comes up with, he was like, hey, do you still play basketball? Would you ever consider playing basketball? And I was like, bro, I'm 29 I'm about to be 30 years old. What do you mean? He said, well, I know at Trinity Baptist College, you can still play there, and Coach Jones is looking for a big man. So long story short, I ended up working out with Coach Jones at a local high school here in Jacksonville. And I ended up throwing up during this workout. And he was like, I see you can play a little bit. I see you got a little bit of game. We just got to get your legs up underneath you, and we got to get you in shape. And I was like, yeah, that's for sure. So I was a little embarrassed that I threw up in front of him. But long story short, I ended up playing for 2 seasons with them. And then I would have kept playing as long as I could, but injuries, being older and I guess not being able to handle the stress of playing that many basketball games back to back to back for an entire season at 29 years old took its toll on me. And I ended up busting up my knee, and I got a couple concussions during the time I was there, and bursitis in my elbow, and just one thing after another. So I ended up playing almost 2 full seasons. I wasn't able to complete the second season.
Right.
And then I transferred into University of North Florida, where I finished my bachelor's degree in sport management and leadership. And then from that, after I graduated from UNF, I went back and met with Coach Jones, and I ended up, he hired me as an assistant for the men's basketball team. And I was there for the last 2 seasons. And again, I was doing a lot of the sport management stuff, the game day operations, logistics, meal planning, travel arrangements and things of that nature, sponsorships, getting partnerships and sponsorships with local businesses to put banners up in the gym and bring some money to the athletic department. I got our entire athletic department, along with a few high school athletic departments in the area as well, to go and volunteer to do the 50-50 jackpot, sell 50-50 jackpot raffle tickets for the Jacksonville Jaguars home games.
Oh yeah, actually that's what I did for the Miami Dolphins. I was a 50-50 raffle ticket seller. I did that for the Dolphins. Yeah,
that is insane, man. So yeah. I've been doing that for the last 6 seasons, and I've been the top sales rep for the 50-50 jackpot program for the Icemen, which is our hockey team here, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So that's really cool, man. I didn't even know that.
I mean, I told them, look, I just put an article out this week where they're always, I titled it, always hiring sellers. I told myself I wanted to be with a pro team before I turned 30, and I was like 28. And I got the email from the Dolphins Foundation. I was like, all right, I'm going to South Florida. I didn't give a shit how much they paid. I'm like, look, I'm with a pro team and I can sell something. So I got an opportunity to prove myself. So I was like, I was one of the top sellers for the 2 seasons. And then that's when I put out my own book and all that. So, sales is important, man, especially in the sports business. So anyone listening in that's trying to break into the business, if you can't sell, you're really not going to be worth it. Trust me, every single conversation you have is going to lead into, can you sell? So exactly, I'll just give you the game early.
It's customer facing. And then most of the entry level positions that you're going to get coming out of college, I was a different breed, man. I was I was old, so I was, I had a dilemma. I could either take an entry level position making $35,000 a year, or I can be in sales and work for sport organizations part-time. So that's what I did. I was in sales to make money. I was doing the 50-50 jackpot to get my foot in the door, hopefully. So after a few years of doing the 50-50 jackpot, I actually interviewed a couple times with the Jaguars for a ticket sales position, hoping that they would give me more than entry-level salary starting out. They wouldn't. So I never took that step to actually go be with the actual Jacksonville Jaguars. But maybe if I did that, I feel like everything happens for a reason, and I'm right where God wants me to be. So that's the reason why I said no to those positions. That's the reason why I didn't get those other 200 jobs that I've applied for in the last 4 years,
Exactly. And that's, this is something I too myself as am learning as I go along is really it's the relationship business. You're really in the relationship business. And when you spoke about how you got your current AD position, I'd really love if you can dive into that now because it has to be such a rewarding feeling for you knowing the amount of work that you put in previously, but to now get to be in a position where you get to run your own program, hire your own coaches, tell your coaches, this is the vision I want. This is how I want you guys. This is how I want you guys conducting yourself in front of your kids. This is how I want you handling parents. This is how I want the teachers. The amount of pride and love that you get to put into your work day to day now is amazing. It was all because you were willing to do those sales jobs. So can you just kind of speak about where you are now in your AD role? And then, I would really love for our listeners to hear that story.
Yes, seriously. So your network your net worth is only as big as your network. I know you've heard that a ton of times.
Absolutely.
I guess it's a little bit of luck, it's when opportunity meets preparation, right? So
yeah,
I've been busting my tail for the last 17 years in sales roles, right? And I've been steady making connections and staying in the basketball world here in the community. And I've been working with sports organizations part-time, and I've been keeping my face clean, since I kind of bettered myself as far as staying out of the streets and having good people around me and things like that. So all I can say is keep a good countenance about yourself, always stay positive, continuously network, try to be a reliable source to others, try to be loyal and honest and keep your integrity high, and be vulnerable. It's our story and our testimony is something that can help a whole bunch of people. So that's where I'm at now is I've been open and honest about my past and what I've done to change it and what I've done to get to where I am now and what I want to do to get to where I'm going. So being transparent about your past and being vulnerable with letting people know, where you've been and where you're going. And again, just remaining reliable to certain people. Like there's been times where, so last year I almost got a job as the middle school boys basketball coach over at Eagles View Academy as well. I actually started to accept that position, but then I had to support my family and to make money at the time. I needed it bad. I went back to work for a roofing company, which didn't allow me to be the boys basketball coach. So I just had to accept it. Even though I put the athletic director over there in a bad position, I was just honest with him. I said, I don't want to commit.
As you say that, it drives me crazy when I see coaches take their positions for granted. So that's another lesson, another gem. I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole, but if you're a coach and you're waking up taking for granted what you do every day, especially if you're at the high school and collegiate level and you're just, it's an extra stipend, you got to understand there's people who want that so badly. They want to affect them boys so badly. If you don't love it, get out of it. Move on.
Seriously.
Because there's so many people out there that, whether they win, lose, or draw, they just want to be in these boys' lives so they can change it and they can help. But they are not interested in just an extra stipend. I just got to get that off my chest. You got to say that.
Because starting out, like you have to be very lucky to graduate college or whatever it may be, and then step into a role where you're making $100,000 a year in sports. It doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Especially, it could happen, but it doesn't happen very often, especially when you are, you've been in a professional atmosphere and you've been doing something else your whole life. And then all of a sudden you're trying to transition into that. It's not going to happen for you. So it's not, if you're trying to get into it for the money, it's not where it's at. You have to have a passion. It's got to be a mission in your life. So that's where I am. I haven't found fulfillment with anything else that I've done in my life. Since for about 5 years, I haven't been able to really sleep through the night. Since I started this job, I've been sleeping very well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's so weird, but I feel like I'm walking in my purpose, even though it doesn't come with a salary. that I feel like maybe I deserve or that I've had for the last, however many years of my life working in sales. But it's not about that. I asked God for a position where I can find fulfillment, where I can be happy, where I can not go to work stressed out, where I can make a difference in people's lives. And then the last one was where I can support my family.
Mm-hmm.
Those other things are more important to me. I don't care about money anymore. I want to chase something that's going to make a difference in people's lives. I want to chase something that's going to make a difference in my life, because it's not just about us pouring into them. The kids are the reason why I'm here today. Like, young people are my heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Because without them, We Are Hype wouldn't be in existence. Without them, I wouldn't have this much passion about what I do. Without the boys that I've been coaching for years, like they have made me who I am today. They're the ones who brought me out of those dark times in my life, is the kids, so without them, I would be nothing.
Yeah.
So that's definitely at the forefront.
Yeah, it's actually interesting because right now I'm reading this book titled The System by Jeff Perlick, and he goes deep into a lot of the college football programs and what they did to get big time coaches. It's all the scandals. It's a lot of crazy shit in that book, man. But they discussed a little bit about what it took to get Nick Saban to Alabama, and it's written so well. So they flew. The athletic director flew all the way out to Miami because he was at the Dolphins, and he just happened to take the meeting in Tuscaloosa and all that. So by the time Nick Saban got to Tuscaloosa, he goes, "I guess you think I'm a pretty good coach." And the AD responds like, "Yeah, I do." But then Nick Saban's response was classic. He said, "Look, I ain't shit without players. I am not shit without players." And that's the whole thing, is the ones who are worth a damn in this business have accepted the fact that we may get praised or may get looked at like we're, great people, but we are not shit without the kids and without the players. It's the players that their grind, their willingness to go out and work every day, they save our lives. They save our lives because of their willingness to go out and put in the work. And it's something they're doing not because they're getting paid, They do it because they just love to compete, and they just want to bet. They want to feel like somebody. The world have told them that they ain't shit, and they're just trying to feel like they are somebody. So that part I resonate with so much, man. And I want to be very respectful of your time, Coach Drew. Can you please just kind of tell people what you got coming on the pipeline? What's next? What do you see as the future, and how they can support what you got going on?
Definitely. So again, I appreciate you having me so much. And Nick Saban's got that check now, right?
He's got that check. And
he's
what's
making plenty of money.
Like, I remember actually seeing a documentary with Nike. Nike redid their whole facility, their whole program. And I remember actually seeing him on camera say, "Look, this was all for you as the players." He pays his strength coach, I think like $12 million or something like that. So again, to get that bag, coaches, you got to, again, be so willing to kind of disperse it and delegate it to other places. You see all of his assistants are getting that bag too. So right. It's not just him. Kirby Smart getting that bag, Jeremy Pruitt getting that bag, Bill O'Brien getting that. Anybody that's been on the Saban getting the bag too. So that's the word to the wise, man.
Anyways, but so what we have coming up, again, we got the Children's Business Fair coming up on July 22nd.
Yes, sir.
Of course, that's in Jacksonville, Florida. We're having it at 6501 Arlington Expressway, Service Road, Jacksonville, Florida, 32216, I believe is the zip code. You can check us out on Instagram, We Are Hype _, Twitter, We Are Hype _, Facebook is We Are Hype Inc. Our website is about to launch, so it's been a long time coming. I've been through a few different developers until I actually got a real developer, and I spent some actual money.
That's always going to be a tough challenge, man. These web developers. Some of y'all are corrupt.
They're insane. They're like, "Okay, we're done," and then the product I received was not what I wanted. Nothing like what I wanted. So now we have a professional. Man. We're going to have a professional presence online where people can go to register to be a volunteer, register for programs, donate, see our event calendar, all that good stuff, hear about We Are Hype and the story behind We Are Hype. So that's something that's very, very big and something that I'm very, very happy about. And then I'm a little nervous about it, but December 15th, I want to do a golf tournament, a charity golf tournament. And then from that golf tournament, I want to start our scholarship program. So I hope to raise enough money in that golf tournament to give at least 2 scholarships away to good student athletes here in our community. And then, of course, we always have our back to school drive going on. So we're always looking for anyone who has leftover school supplies, or if they just want to help the teachers and the schools in the community. We are looking to bring in school supplies year round. So, you know, when the teachers hit mid-year and they have to go purchase stuff out of their own pockets or out of that budget that's dwindling already, we want to be there for them to fall back on. So, you know, they can come and get some supplies whenever they need it. That's a goal of mine. And that's
what type of supplies, like pencils,
just school supplies in general, anything.
Notebooks and all that.
Yeah, notebooks, book bags, pencils, paper, staples, hand sanitizers.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah,
napkins,
I might. I got it. Well, we'll talk more off camera, offline on that. But yeah.
All right, awesome.
I
Yeah,
work
definitely.
at a school too, so.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like you and I are going to connect, and we're going to collaborate on a few different things here in the future. So I really look forward to that. But as far as we are hyped, though, man, we're trying to do our best to just be a positive impact on our community and on like right now, I only have 8 to 10 boys. You know, they're inconsistent when they come, but about 8 to 10 boys for our 16 and under boys basketball team. And then I want it to grow into more things. We're looking at facilities to either lease or buy here in the future. We just got our financials and everything back in order the way that we need them to, and we're good as far as our tax exemption is concerned. So anybody that helps and donates, it's a tax write-off for them. We'll be seeking grants, and we're always looking for assistance because, you know, without that assistance, we can't help the amount of kids that we are looking to help. So that's kind of where we're at right now, fundraising and getting our programs developed, website development, and just getting our professional presence out there. And then hopefully, eventually one day, you know, I want to have a fully functional youth development and recreational facility that has a multi-court gym with classrooms and conference room and a kitchen where we can help the homeless, where we can have clinics and camps and of all types of sports. It doesn't have to just be basketball. That's just what I can control right now.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where we're at, man. You know, just trying to be a positive impact to the community.
Yeah, I'm here for it, man. I am here for it. And the best thing is you just got to take it day by day. And like I said, it's not just you, Coach Drew. It is the community. It's going to be moms that are struggling. It's going to be young kids that have this dream of playing. It's going to be the college kid that doesn't make it. There's going to be so many people that are drawn to your vision. And you could, you know, it takes a village to raise one is what I always tell people. It takes a village to raise one. So it's going to be not just you, all of us out there doing our part in the community. So, you know, the final thing I do with all my guests is I need you to use your imagination for a little bit. And I want you to pretend that young Andrew just came in and he's on his way, like mentally, he's about to go grab that bottle of Jack Daniel. He's about to get in his car. He's about to just do something that he knows is not right. I want you to pretend that he just came into the room. You are who you are now. Just speak to that young man and we'll officially close.
Andrew, man, what are you doing? You've always said that you don't want to be like your father, but you're walking in his footsteps right now. You're angry, you're drunk, and you're not doing what you said you were supposed to do. Go back home, get your Bible, sit down, talk to your mom, and make better decisions. You have a long life ahead of you, and you've got a lot of people to impact. Get it together.
Man, save the young man's life. And again, if you are on that path, young man, take that as him telling you not to do that, all right? Fellow teammates, continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.
All right, man. Thank you, guys. See you soon.